Hello again. Today I figured I would do a quick video to teach you how to approach equivalent sentences. Equivalent sentences meaning sentences which mean the same. And this is something that comes up in CSEC exams all the time. And so I've selected 3 papers, 2014, 2015, 2016, to just show you examples of what could come. Now, as we've been noticing, a lot of these questions are repeat questions, and this is good, right? But it doesn't mean that if you see something, see a sentence, that it's automatically the same sentence you saw. Sometimes it can be a little bit different. So it's always advisable that you read properly, not because it looks familiar. You're just going to go ahead and jump to select an answer without reading properly. All right, so let's look at 2014. And the key to this is read that sentence first. Make sure you know what it is saying. Read the original sentence. What we're trying to eliminate now would be the sentences that either add or take away from what the original sentence is saying. And trust me, you'll find that there are even sentences that are saying nothing similar at all to the original sentence. So that's one way to approach it, elimination. But outside of that, you're looking for the sentence that says the same thing, all right? It's the nearest in meaning. So let's look at this one. This is 2014. Number 6 says, his books are interesting and provocative. His books are interesting and provocative. Now, there are 2 descriptions given, which means we need to find that sentence that shows those 2 descriptions. It's A wouldn't be enough because it's just saying his books are most exciting. His books tend to make the reader angry. That's way off as well. His books are concerned with trivial topics. Way off as well. And so the ideal answer would be C, being appealing and stimulating. 7, cigarettes have been linked to lung cancer, and strangely enough, so has bacon. We're learning 2 things, but we have to watch the message that is being sent in the sentence. So one of the facts that they're teaching us is that lung cancer, what causes it? Cigarettes. Cigarettes are known to cause lung cancer. What else is causing it? Bacon. But the tone suggests that this is kind of strange that bacon is giving you lung cancer too, or can give you lung cancer. So we need to find a sentence that's expressing this same message in the same kind of tone. It is strange that bacon, quite unlike cigarettes. You don't even have to finish that sentence because it says unlike cigarettes, when clearly the sentence says cigarettes are linked. It is rather peculiar that bacon, peculiar meaning strange, that bacon, that sounds similar because in the original sentence it says that it's strange that bacon can cause lung cancer. Like cigarettes, correct, because cigarettes and bacon can cause cancer. So B seems to be the logical answer. Now, if we continue, we see 8. People in the market are as varied and curious as the wares they offered for sale. So we know that there are people in the market. We know they are selling. But there's something about the people we're learning in this sentence. They were varied and curious. Varied, the word variety comes to mind, which means, having lots of different types of things, okay, or being of different types. So we know that there were many different types of people, and they were offering things to sell. And they were compared to the things they were selling. They were as varied as and curious as what they were selling. So let's see. The people in the market were curious. Okay, so they were described as varied and curious, but were they curious about the variety of goods? That's not what happened, because there was a comparison between them being varied and curious as what they were selling. B, the people in the market selling the various and unusual wares were of many races. Now, it's always good not to assume. They said the people were varied, but it doesn't mean they were of different races, so we cannot jump to conclusions. C, a large variety of curios were offered for sale in the market to many different people. That just sounds off. D, the wares for sale in the market were as different and as strange as the people selling them. Now that makes sense. Number 9. According to the witness, he did not see the accused man near the scene of the crime. And this is what the witness said, according to the witness. So the witness said this. And what did he say? He did not see the accused man. He didn't see. He didn't see him near the scene of the crime. All right. A, so the witness testified that he did not see the accused man commit the crime. Not at all. He said he never see him near the crime. B, the witness testified that the accused man was not seen by him near the place where the crime was committed. That sounds like it. C, the witness testified to seeing no evidence that the accused man had committed the crime. No, and it sounds like A. It's not about seeing evidence. It's not about the man committing it. It's about not seeing him near the place. All right? And these are, not because he didn't see him near doesn't mean he's saying that he was far. So we don't jump to conclusions. We don't add, we don't take away. So logical answer, B. 10. The result of the flooding was some financial loss. Some financial loss to those farmers whose crops were destroyed. Some. And some financial loss came because what? There was flooding. And the financial loss was to those whose crops were destroyed. To those. To those meaning not to everybody. And because it says some financial loss, it's not complete financial loss. So let's make sure we interpret that. A, the flood destroyed crops and caused some farmers to lose money. Sounds good. B, when the flooding was over, the financial destruction of the farmers and their crops was evident. C, after the flood, all the farmers, that's out because it says to those whose crops were destroyed, not all. D, the financial loss which the farmers suffered was not helped by the flood. So we're saying that there was a loss before the flood. So the flood didn't help the loss that they were going through. No. So A, the flood destroyed some crops, and caused some farmers. All right, so that's A. It's always good to just, in your mind, process the original sentence first and make sure you're looking for those sentences that assume things that weren't given in the first sentence, and automatically you can rule them out. Let's look at 2015. Mary still wanted to marry John, even though he had lost all his money. So she still wanted to marry him. And so we're saying, even though he had lost it, the loss of the money came and she still wanted to marry him. So, what's the sentence to choose? Did Mary agree to marry John although? Did she agree to marry him although? Is it about agreeing to marry him? Doesn't sound like it. It would appear that she had an intention to marry him and then he lost his money, and so she still would marry him. So let's look at B. The loss of all John's money did not affect Mary's wish to marry. That sounds like it. So even though he had lost his money, Mary still, yeah, that didn't change her mind. All right? But it's not about the money not mattering, not being of substance to Mary. All right? And it's not if he were to lose it, because it says that he had lost it and she still, so it did not affect her desire or wish to marry him. So it's B. No right thinking person who has lived in the country will fail to understand my disgust at noise. No right thinking person will fail to understand. If no right thinking person will fail to understand, then all right thinking persons will understand. So that's what we're looking, that's the type of interpretation we're looking for. Yes? And so we're looking at C. My disgust at noise will be understood by all of them. Any right thinking person. Yes. Yes. 13. The youth of the country need to organize themselves. Need to organize themselves into cooperatives in order to support the Prime Minister's drive for self-sufficiency. So they need to do that. If they're going to support their Prime Minister in terms of his drive for self-sufficiency, then they need to. Are we saying that A, cooperatives are the only means? No. Did the Prime Minister advise anybody to do it? No. What about D? Is it about cooperating? You have to look at the wording. Cooperating? No. But C, if they're going to show their support, then they will organize themselves into cooperatives. Okay, number 14. Realizing that her suitcase was left on the bus, the woman desperately tried to attract the conductor's attention. So this woman realized that she left her suitcase on the bus. What did she do? Because, I mean, she's now in a position where maybe the bus is going to drive away. So what she's trying to do is to get the attention of the conductor. All right. When the woman realized that she was leaving the bus without her suitcase. Now, I'd like to point out that the suitcase was already left on the bus. So that's out. The woman became aware of the fact that she no longer had her suitcase and did her best to catch the attention of the bus conductor. Doesn't sound bad. The woman made all attempts to attract the conductor's attention to the suitcase. No, she was trying to attract the conductor's attention to herself. All right. So we're going to go with B. B is the logical answer. The Europeans who were not well off were those who came to the West Indies in search of wealth. So those who came to the West Indies, of course, they were searching for wealth, were those who were not well off. The answer is D. So they came in search of wealth, same thing as saying to seek their fortunes. They came to the West Indies, same idea, and they were not wealthy. That's why it says they were not well off. Is it because they were unemployed why they came? No, we cannot assume that, so this one is off. Having financial difficulties, well, they were not well off. They were not wealthy, but can we say that they were having financial difficulties? Not fair to say. Is it because they were told that they would become richer? Definitely off as well. Finally, 2016, we are seeing repeat questions. 13, 15, 14, all repeat questions. And let's look at 11 and 12. The news shocked me so much that I almost forgot what I wanted to say. So we can assume safely that the reason why I forgot what I wanted to say was because of the news being shocking. Okay, so the news was so shocking that I could not move, definitely out. I could hardly remember my message after such shocking news. Not too bad. Well, let's see if that's the best one. I nearly didn't speak again. No, completely off. I was so shocked by the news that I could hardly speak. So it's not about being unable to speak or finding difficulty speaking. It's about forgetting. So B is the answer. I could hardly remember. 12. If students' efforts are rewarded, they would be encouraged to work harder. Why would they work harder? Because their efforts, their hard work, their work would give them some reward. So, is it that we need to encourage them to work harder? No, we're saying they will be encouraged if they are rewarded. If students work harder, they will be praised. That's backwards, so that is not it. Students whose efforts are compensated generally work better. Something is off about this compensation. If students are praised for their efforts, they usually work harder. And the better as well was off in C. So yes, we're gonna go with D. And so that's a quick run through of how to tackle equivalent sentences. It will always come. You will always see it. But first, read the original sentence. Turn it backwards, inside, out. Say the end and then the beginning. Process it. Make sure you know what it says so that no other sentence can confuse you. Look for the sentence that adds or take away and eliminate that one. And then try to find that one now that says almost the same thing. Maybe because it used synonyms. Or maybe because it was reworded. All right? Maybe some construction shift took place. But you're really trying to find a sentence that means the same. All right. Thank you for watching.